Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to what? Welcome back to Kaiju Hachigo, Kaiju number 8, in episode 3, yeah, in which we will probably start the training arc, and by we I mean Kafka and Reno will probably finally get into the, the gears of the organization that will spit out soldiers eventually. That seems to be the case, right? They passed the first exam that I would assume was some sort of theoretical exam. Maybe, I don't know, basic psych evaluation, stuff like that. And then the second exam, I assume, is going to be physical. So they will have to excel in that as well. Then they're gonna go one up higher, one up higher, one up higher, until Kafka will finally be able to meet Mina and fight together hand in hand. That is the end goal. That is the end game after all. In the previous episode, Kafka got a little bit more control of his powers and got to know his powers. That's probably the most important thing here. All he knew so far is that, oh shit, I've been transformed into a kaiju. Didn't really know what exactly it entails. Now he knows that he possesses super strength. Now he knows he possesses some sort of electricity powers, thunder powers, or whatever it is. And now he realizes just how powerful he is. He can just turn any random kaiju into red mist with a single punch. He also got a little bit of control over it, right? He can choose how strong or how weak he can punch. And he also gained a little bit of control over his shapeshifting, because it's, as it turns out, another ability that he got. As he and Reno were running away from the hospital, Kafka was shifting into all sorts of horrific forms, including one that pisses out of its nipples. Good shit. But now he has a little bit of control over it. He can revert back to his human form. He has to keep, he has to do it consciously, right? If he forgets himself, then he will revert back into his monstrous form. But he can do that. He can do it well enough to go back to work, to hide in general society. So that was a very important episode, because now he knows what he's dealing with, more or less, and he has some modicum of control over it. I really thought we are heading towards an arc where he's hiding in the sewers and helping out of nowhere, but no, thankfully not. Thankfully he's a little bit more out in the open. He also saved a little girl, who was, of course, and her mother, who was, of course, very scared of him, but in the end she said, thank you, Mr. Kaiju, and that mattered a lot, and that really gave him the strength to finally make the decision, to finally make the jump, finally make the dive, and go forth to give his papers, documents, whatever, to the defense force, to try again, try for the one last time. And now he will make it. Now he will make it. He is known, or his monstrous form at least, he is known on some wanted posters, because he's the very first kaiju that ever escaped the defense force, but hopefully he will not be killed on sight, because the little girl told Mina that, hey, could you please spare the good kaiju, like the one who saved my mom. So, a seed of doubt, a little bit of a seed of doubt has been sown. So chances are that if Mina notices Kafka in his monstrous form, and he behaves non-threateningly or just outright states, hey, yo, chill, it's me, Kafka, chances are she's going to take a pause, enough of a pause at least, to give him a chance to explain, to give him a chance to shapeshift back. So that's good. We got a lot of stuff established in the previous episode, and that wasn't the end of it. Because Kafka and Reno both got through the first stage of the exams, they get invited for the second stage, and now we met their prospective co-workers, I'm gonna say. I don't want to say competitors. I don't think it's a competition. Some of them will probably fail and, you know, flake off. But you know, it's not a competition. It's not like only one of them can succeed or anything like that. So it's not a tournament arc. We met a couple of interesting people. We met a biker, we met a runner, we met a nice guy looking dude, and we met Kikoru Shinomiya, a rich Ojo-sama with blonde twin tails, with butler probably named Alfred, who is very particular about numerology, and wears a suit that gives her super strength because she's rich enough to afford it. Sure, we'll see where it goes, of course. And yeah, she threw away Kafka's company car, and that's where the episode cut off, basically. So I'm assuming we're gonna be picking up from there. We're gonna meet all of those characters, and we're gonna get to the tests, and all of the characters that we were introduced to will probably pass to the next stage, whatever the next stage might be. I would imagine they get assigned to like a single team, like a low-ranking team, dealing with maybe not kaiju, but with yoju, right, at first. And if they get enough training, they get enough accolades, then they will rise up in the ranks and yada, 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 yada. Probably something like that, rising through the ranks of the organization. And Kafka, of course, will have to be very careful about revealing his superpowers, his super strength, his ability to sense kaiju. That's also something that he has. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. To do that, you will need your subs, of course, to follow along with me. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on in the show. And I'm gonna have to ask you for support. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, YouTube, down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with that, we can start watching episode 3 of Kaiju Hachigo in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, you recognize it? Is it something that, like, exists? Or is it something that she has specifically made herself, maybe? And yeah, he smells like kaiju. Well, they got approved for the second stage. Just casually moving it back. No suit necessary. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Oh, friendly rivalry. You can see the sparks flying. Sebas. Of course it's Sebas. Why would it ever be anything else? Okay, so he needs to transform at least partially in order to use his powers. He can, like, use them in his human form. Interesting. Interesting limitation. Yeah, you gotta climb all the way to the top of this building. All the way up through the structure of the HQ. At least figuratively. I mean, maybe even literally. Wouldn't surprise me if, like, the top tier team were seated at, like, the top floors. maybe. Fastest access to the helipad and all. This is really just credits to a proper theatrical movie release, not an opening to an anime. Both in the good sense and in the bad sense, to be honest with you. I thought maybe second time I see it, I'm gonna have, different impression of it. But no, it seems like my impression has remained unchanged. I can absolutely see myself listening to this song though. This is like my early 2000s taste in music. Yeah, I very much do enjoy this song. Aloe and Jasmine. Yeah, but you're doing a different sort of physical work, right? Different muscles are engaged. You're lifting stuff, you're not crawling in the mud. And he can't transform himself, and he can't use his powers without transforming. I was expecting him to absolutely nail it by using his superpowers. But no, apparently not. Unless he figures out how to transform just, the inside of his body, right? Like just muscles and not skin, for example, right? That's not bad. He didn't end up last. Yeah, you were so cool just a moment ago. Yeah, he probably should have. At least, a little bit. Sure, of course. He wants. Yeah. Here he is. Trying again. Oh, fangs. Mm-hmm. All the people that we've met in a previous episode. The biker. And a mechanic, apparently. A military. Mm-hmm. Oh, like specific neutralization universities. Interesting. I mean, I guess it would make sense that they would turn kaiju knowledge into like a branch of science, right? How to neutralize them, how to utilize their body parts, what are the defense possibilities against their venom, right? Stuff, of course, makes sense there would be entire universities centered around it. Why do you have no eyelashes? The suit kind of helps her a lot. Oh! Yeah, I wonder how. If you really don't plan on using your powers, I wonder how. Oh, really? Why? Hmm. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Right? Like showing them firsthand that this is the result of you fighting. So, you know, take care of fighting. Take care so that you don't level entire buildings, for example. Randomized number order. That's good security. Fight them. Yeah. It's a little bit of a different test. You're not even giving them any weapons? Nothing? Who's gonna show off? Oh, I was expecting either Kikoru or Kafka to just, you know, stop the charge with a single arm. No weapons? I mean, you gotta create some bodies to dispose them, right? Okay, so they are getting weapons. That's good. And suits. Oh, he can transform freely. His transformation is gonna be hidden by the suit. Well, that solves a lot of issues. Oh, does it also give them superpowers? Kaiju muscle fibers. So it's infused. Oh, interesting. So kaiju bodies don't go to waste. They're researching them, taking them apart. Exactly. Utilizing kaiju muscle fibers and shit. They're using guns anyway, so, like, what's the point to super strength? I guess, I mean, you know, wielding big ass guns. Kafka Hibino 180%. Or, alternatively, 0%. Because he doesn't need it. He has enough power of his own. Either super high or super low. Oh, because she's been training with a suit like that already. Probably. She got used to it. Hibino Kafka? You can up it with training. Okay. Watch Kafka get zero. Yeah, because he doesn't need it. Or integer overflow. Transform. Meld your kaiju physiology with the suit, right? You're gonna become essentially one and the same with the suit, right? If there was a time to use your kaiju powers, it would be now. Ooh, character with closed eyes, opening eyes. It's hitting the fan. That's how you know it. Honju. What the fuck is a Honju? Is it like a size classification? Kaiju, Honju, Yoju? You're gonna be extracted, yep. Okay, so they have shields. And they are getting guns. I thought they're getting just the suits. She's doing a Titanfall. That's how she can get ahead of the competition, after all. Easy. How do you know their numbers? You don't seem to have like a heads-up display or anything. Yeah. Use your kaiju powers. You have no other recourse. Hmm. Show off for your childhood friend. For safety, or so they claim. Hmm. Makes sense, yeah. Right, okay. Teamwork. Mm-hmm. Take the kaiju's attention to give the other teams a chance to shine. And utilize your knowledge of the disposal, of course. Yeah, he knows which one can spit acid, which one has heat vision, right? He knows everything about them because he fucking disassembled their bodies. Huh. Yeah, easier to cut. Aim for the fucking stomach, don't question it. Just like that. That's gonna be his nickname, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Literally. Quite literally. He's gonna have to. Absolutely. Yep. For example, right now. Okay, we still have time. I expected them to roll the credits right about now. Is he unable? Oh, they're gonna figure out that he has like super regeneration or something? Yeah, you gotta use your powers. You have no other choice. Whether you want it or not. You gotta use your super strength, super regeneration, whatever you have at your disposal. Or are you gonna be saved by Ichikawa? Yeah? Saved. Okay, so not the time for superpowers quite yet. Kikuru. Kikuru. She's the leader. It's not a competition. You're supposed to be cooperating. You're supposed to be working together as a team. With your broken spleen. Oh? Oh, I thought they're sensing his kaiju powers. Come on. Regeneration. It's gonna... Yeah. I thought it's gonna, like, start, you know, rising. Dude, just make use of your powers already. I mean, sure, like, people are watching and all, but you have no other way. You have no other choice. And it is a part of you, right? Kikoro isn't afraid of using her super suit. You shouldn't be afraid of using your superpowers either. Utilize whatever you can. Exactly. Don't you dare give up. Oh. Or you're going to? No. The music, though. It's rising. Oh, 100th. Oh, that's it. Okay. How hot is it? 27 degrees. God damn it. Fucking hate summer. I thought we might be seeing some different photos, but no, it seems like it's the exact same ones that we've already seen. Yep. Also, what is this naming? Folder 108, 115? Who's gonna be able to find anything in there? I really was expecting him to use his powers. Is it going to be a running theme? I think it might be. I think it might be a running theme of the show, just leading you by the nose. Right? In the first episode, I was also constantly wondering, oh, he's gonna transform now, he's gonna transform now, he's gonna transform now, and he never did. Now I'm like, he's gonna use his powers now, he's gonna use powers now, he's gonna use powers now, and he never did. It's gonna be a running theme, absolutely. And what's running theme with my videos is that we always watch them again. How's that for a segue? Let's see, yeah. That's the super suit. And he had to show off, and it seems like he did not visibly transform his arms, probably, but not the palms of his hands. So he can be very selective about what he transforms. And that's why I fully expected him to utilize his transformation. It's a very interesting limitation that he has to like physically shapeshift into his monstrous form in order to utilize its power. I gotta say, that's a very cool limitation, because when they are put in a situation like this, right? Short sleeves, very thin shirt, short-ish pants, right? He can't like transform his arms into a monster because it's gonna be easily seen. He can't exactly transform his torso because you're gonna see like spine spikes on him. He can't utilize his powers because he can't change his form. And the superpowers apparently don't stick around when he is henshined into his human form, which is interesting because I thought that it's part of his like shape-shifting ability, right? Like, he is the monster, he's just shape-shifted into a human right now, into a human form, but underneath there is all the kaiju muscle fibers doing the work. Apparently not, though. Apparently not. Yeah, fitness test. 219th out of 225. At least is not the last one. Yeah, there's gonna be some nice rivalry with Kikoru, I feel. And I actually wonder which direction her character is going to go, because I can absolutely see two directions for Kikoru. She can either be the like tsundere, without like, you know, dere. I don't think she's gonna be a love interest, but she can go the like tsundere route of, you know, constantly trying to belittle him, but at the same time being like, oh, I guess you helped the team after all, rump, baka. I guess you do deserve a little bit of praise. She could go this way. I can absolutely see that, her being absolutely, completely sour about the fact that Kafka is actually competent. Or I can see her character going the way of being very tight with Kafka. Of perhaps Kafka, you know, revealing to her, willingly or unwillingly, that he is a kaiju, explaining it, and she understanding it, and maybe thinking that, holy shit, it's so cool, using the enemy weapon against them, right? I'm gonna guard your secrets as, you know, the best I can, and we're best buddies now. It could go either of those two ways, and I wonder which one is going to be. Yeah, everybody's put in a lot of effort to get here. I thought it would be so cool to say it, but I should have used it. First time I thought that he is actually going to use it. But apparently not. Apparently not. And yeah, he also scored badly because many people here are above the, you know, above any expectations. All of them are very good, even for this exam alone, right? They're taking anybody who gets any compatibility score with the suit or whatever, and over 10 is rare. Meanwhile, we have so many people with like 14s and 15s and 40 somethings, right? Meanwhile, usually getting one that has above 10 is, whoa, shit, he's strong, right? So, of course, compared to monsters like that, Kafka's gonna fare a little bit worse. Valedictorian at Hachioji Neutralization Technical College. I very much like how deeply the kaiju business is tied with the world. I really, really, really like it. We not only have a branch of military or paramilitary or whatever you want to call it that deals with neutralizing the threat. You not only have a whole branch of economy that deals with cleaning up after the neutralization. You not only have some science being done with it in, like, you know, secret labs or whatever. No, it's out there in the open. If you want to study kaiju, there are technical colleges that study kaiju. If you want to study neutralization specifically, you can. We're gonna teach you about all the kinds of kaiju. This one has weak bones, this one has poor eyesight, and this one can sense ultraviolet light. And we can teach you about it, if you like. I like it. I very much enjoy that they are actually utilizing kaiju parts. Right? It doesn't just get disposed, it gets used, it gets utilized. Shit, kaiju are so strong, what's the secret? Well, let's research their muscles, their muscle fibers. We can't replicate that effect in a lab. Well, we have no shortage of kaiju, let's just rip away their muscles, strip them into fibers, put them in a suit. It's gonna be cool, it's gonna give our soldiers superpowers. Good shit. All I'm really missing right now from like the perfect state of how tightly integrated the supernatural is into the normal is some sort of a mundane use for the kaiju. You could say that corpse disposal is mundane, but what I mean is what I mentioned a couple of times already, a kaiju leather sofa, for example. Or, hey, you know, I got a raise, I got myself some kaiju leather boots. They're expensive, but holy shit, they're completely flame resistant, or, right? Something like that. That's the one and only thing I'm missing here. Or maybe, I know, people keeping tiny little kaiju as pets, or something along those lines. Something completely and utterly mundane. Graduated from California in neutralization at age 16, Kikari Shinomiya. Yeah, the biggest bowler around. And the next exam is led by the vampire. And no, it's not corpse disposal, it's creating corpses. Oh, there's... No. I was about to say, oh, there's even a 7! Those pin pads usually don't go up to a 7. Of course they do. There's 10 numbers, they go up to 9 from 0. But what I paid attention to is how the numbers are shuffled. That's very, very good security. If the numbers are ordered, then you can deduce the password, you can deduce the pin by just, you know, watching which spots are the most worn out, or the potential attacker can maybe lightly dust the pad with something and see where the fingerprints are, or maybe they can put a coating of something on it and see where the coating has been taken off by your fingers, right? And if they have 4 numbers selected and they hear 6 presses, they know that it's a 6-digit password made out of those 4 numbers, and they have a much easier time to deduce what the password is. But if you shuffle the order of numbers every time you have to enter the password, it's not that easy, because all of those fields get worn down evenly. And if someone right now selects password 5500, next time the order will be shuffled. And the attacker will know that it's middle, top, middle, middle, but now there are different numbers at those positions, right? Find kaiju and no, not dispose of them, defeat them, destroy them. I fully expected them to be let in with just no weapons whatsoever, just their bare hands and whatever you can scavenge. No, thankfully they get their super suits. Pressing against my body. Some really cool mechanical design here. The automatic zipper, that's cool. And I really like the spine part. This. Oh, that's cool. I like it. I like the suits. Skin tight, kaiju muscle fibers. I love this. I always very much enjoy an amalgamation of technology with biology, right? A suit that utilizes biological muscle fibers, for example, or a weapon that grows around your arm, or, you know, stuff like that. I always have a weak spot for that, and the fact that those suits are utilizing kaiju muscle fibers, good shit. That's the good shit. I like it. I very much like the world this show is set in. I like the world building. I like the technology they're showing. It's good. It's some really good stuff. I can feel my muscles getting stronger. Yeah, it's connecting tightly to your body. Multiplies the combat power according to the unleashed combat power. And here, I believe we see in the ending, right? 8%, 18%, 14%. How much of the suit's power you've drawn out? Yeah. We're lucky to get one applicant a year above 10%, and now we have multiple above 10%, and one in particular who's at almost fucking 50. Already platoon leader. I'd imagine it's because of the training that she gets by utilizing a similar suit, perhaps not the exact same, but a similar suit on the daily. Greatest talent in history. And yeah, you pass even if you don't have a 0. And just like that, 0. Until this moment, I still thought that, oh, the jig is up, Kafka's getting like negative numbers or above 100, or the measuring thing just starts sparking and blows up, or, you know, something like that. Basically the isekai trope of let's measure your power strength. Oh, the measuring sphere has broken. How did that happen? You're beyond measure, right? I was expecting something like that. And perhaps that's why Konomi Okonogi, the scientist girl, would take interest in Kafka, right? They can't measure his compatibility because technically the gear to measure it is broken. So they don't know how high it is. Maybe it's 0, maybe it's above 0. We don't know. He's gonna have to go out into the field anyway. I was fully expecting either something like that, or I was expecting him to get a super high score or a super low score, and then believing that it's a malfunction of some sort. So we're gonna try to fix the malfunction, and in the meantime, you go out there into the field. But no, it's 0, which I guess makes perfect sense. He's unable to draw out any power of this suit because he has no need for this power. That's how I'd imagine it works, right? A human body needs the power of the kaiju, so it needs to draw out some of the power of the suit. But his kaiju body, first of all, might be incompatible with this technology, which is entirely possible, or it could just have no need for it. So why even try to reach out and connect with those tiny little singular kaiju fibers if I have a whole fucking bicep of kaiju muscle fibers, right? Could be that. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, and she knows. She knows that he has the power. She's gonna be suspicious. And she's gonna see it eventually. And she will be best buds with Kafka. I can see that happening. He's gonna explain what's going on. And she's gonna, maybe reluctantly, agree to not tell anybody. There's gonna be something. They're very much they're focusing on Kikoru a lot, which tells me that she will be important. And she knows his true strength. She knows his true power. Or at least a little bit of it. Let's start the final test. Yeah. Honju and Yoju. I wonder what the classification is here. Kaiju, Honju, Yoju would be my my suspicion. Although they say, yeah, they call them Kaiju collectively. Maybe. Initially, I thought that, you know, the big one that can destroy entire cities, that's the Kaiju. Medium one that can maybe destroy a city block, that's a Honju. And a tiny little one that can kill a lot of people but probably not cause a lot of destruction would be a Yoju. Maybe something like that. Or maybe Kaiju is like the common name for them, but Honju are like the big ones and Yoju are the small ones. I don't know. Find them with anti-kaiju weapons and tracked with drones, of course. She's already doing a Titanfall. Yeah, we don't have that kind of offensive power indeed. This is another moment when I thought that he's going to use his powers. His entire body is covered with the suit. No one's gonna notice if his arms turn blue. Right? And if he can still shapeshift, he can even keep the size, you know, relatively well. We know that he can shapeshift partially fairly well, so he could technically shapeshift the entirety of his body except the head into, maybe not full-blown kaiju, because in his kaiju form he's much bigger and bulkier, but at least his arms and his legs, he could probably shapeshift and get away with it. Especially since the suit adheres to your body shape perfectly and automatically. But no, he doesn't do that. He wants to do it legit. And he realizes that, yeah, they're being followed with drones. The drones are transmitting not just, you know, oh, person A was nearby Kaiju 17, and Kaiju 17 is now dead, means person A killed them. We can record that, right? We know that immediately, or tracking them from a satellite or something way up. No, everybody gets their own personal drone with visuals, with everything else, which means that, yeah, they want to know more than just whether or not they're able to kill the kaiju. And they absolutely can do more, because they know a lot about the kaiju. They know a metric ton about them, yeah. They have weak eyesight, but very strong hearing. So, use a bang grenade to stun them, and they have soft bellies, so shoot the bellies. Easy. If you know a lot about your enemies, you're gonna have a very easy time disposing of them. And this dude, I just realized, reminds me of, what's his face from Witch from Mercury? Can't remember his name, but he very much reminds me of a character from Witch from Mercury. Yeah, oh, right? They're the only ones exhibiting any sort of teamwork. They're the only ones thinking of, hey, we might not have enough strength to stand up to the kaiju on our own, but we can help them. We can help our friends. We can help our teammates. Meanwhile, everybody else thinks it's a fucking competition. I want to kill the most kaiju, rush, be suka, right? That's the thinking that most of them have, or at least Kikoru does. Meanwhile, Kafka and Reno are working as a team. Good, that also counts very much. Years of playing Warframe taught me that you amass around the cryopod and you defend it instead of being a fucking door hero so that you can rack up the kills. The kills don't matter, protecting the fucking cryopod does. Warframe really teaches you teamwork. It's fun being a door hero. It's fun getting all the kills to yourself, but it's not efficient. It's not efficient. Another moment where I thought that he's going to use his powers. I mean, he has to, right? He has to. His spine has been fractured, his leg is broken, he lost half of his liver right now, and bile is spilling out of his bile sac all over his guts. He's in no shape to fight right now. He has to use his kaiju powers to regenerate, at least. I'm not saying use his strength, but at least regenerate. At least stand up. Stand up and punch this kaiju in the face and obliterate it. That's what I was expecting. And again, no. Misled. He gets saved. Just like exactly in the first episode when I thought, oh shit, Kafka is in trouble, he's going to transform now, he's going to save himself, there's no other way. Q ran with a stop sign, saving him. This is the exact same moment. I'm thinking, he has no choice, he has to do it now, he has to tap into his powers. Nope, he doesn't, he gets saved. And it's a competition to them. They don't understand that it's a team sport. They don't understand that it doesn't matter that you kill the leader. It doesn't matter. You could leave the leader alive for all anybody cares. As long as you prove your combat prowess on the smaller targets, as long as you prove that you can work in a team, that's fine. Notice how nobody said that the past condition is raking up a specific kill count. Nobody said that the past condition is killing the alpha. Nobody said that if you kill the biggest kaiju, you get promoted to a team leader immediately. Nobody said that. They assumed that. They assumed immediately it's a competition. And it really is not. We're seeing irregularities. Another moment when I thought that, yeah, this is the moment. Those irregularities are his kaiju powers working despite him. Right? His kaiju blood, kaiju nervous system, whatever sees, holy shit, the body's dying. We need to, start regeneration processes. And they do, despite him trying to hide it. But no. They just detected organ damage and shit. And, he decided to, just through the sheer power of will, stand up and continue fighting without using any kaiju powers. And he got 100% compatibility. And apparently it's a big deal. Very fast growth rate. Could it be that? Like, usually the compatibility rate that you have is the one that you have, and it doesn't really raise all that much. Or is it, I don't know, something else? Or is it just the sheer fact that someone with 0 compatibility got to 100%? Could be that. Could be that the higher your compatibility already is, the easier it is for you to improve it. And if you are 0, then you have no chance of improvement whatsoever. 0 compatibility means 0 fucking compatibility, and you can't train using something you're not compatible with. Right? Like, I don't know, a mute person cannot train singing, basically. But if you have just a bad voice, you can train your voice and make it a little bit nicer, a little bit better, right? But if you have no voice, you have nothing to train. Probably something like that. If you have 0 compatibility, you have nothing to train. You cannot train that compatibility. That's the consensus. But he did. His compatibility did grow. Through the sheer power of will. Through a sheer fucking kill-la-kill moment. I mean, tell me you don't see that. He absolutely looks right now like a kill-la-kill character, especially those eyebrows. And she's just looking at the photos and sleeping in. There we go. There we go. Oh, I need to get different headset or something because holy shit, it's so hot. So incredibly hot right now and sweaty. Regardless, a very good episode. I like it. I fucking love everything about it. About this show, about this episode. I love the world building, as I already said. I love how much of an integral part of the world the kaiju stuff is. It's not just something that, oh, you know, it's a real world, but there's kaiju sometimes. But besides that, the world isn't really all that different, right? It's all the exact same. No. Entire colleges, entire new branches of science have been created around the fact that kaiju exist. That's how it should be done. Sometimes there are shows, and not just shows, I mean, manga, comics, anything else, where the premise is, oh, it's the world, you know, just like ours, but there's magic. You know, the world is exactly the same, but there's magic. And quite literally, the world is exactly the same. So what's the point of magic? Well, the point of magic in the shows, in the stories, I guess, generally, is for the main characters and maybe the main villains and just random people to be able to use magic to throw some fireballs around. But it usually doesn't go deep enough to realize that, well, we have fire magic. Do we really need fossil fuels to power our cars? Could you just use a stone enchanted with fire magic to drive the car forward? And if it's too weak, well, we don't need wheels. We have levitation magic. We can just levitate the car and use that, and that's how cars would look, right? It doesn't go as deep as to, I know, history. Would a wheel even be as prominent as and as early invented in the first place if it wasn't needed, right? If ancient people, if fucking Australopithecus were able to just levitate things, would they have a need for a wheel? They wouldn't. How would the pyramids look if the people of Egypt could just levitate the stones around? They would probably be much bigger. Tell ya what. They would maybe be covered with glass, because if they had fire magic, who's stopping them from covering the entire pyramid with sand and melting the sand and having a nice shiny pyramid, right? So many things would have looked different. And many of the stories just completely miss that, completely skip that. Kaiju seems to be fairly new thing, right? It's not something that's been with humanity since time immemorial. It seems to be fairly new. The branch of science is also fairly new-ish, but it's still very much permeating the entirety of the world, and I very much enjoy it. And I can't help but think of what this world would look like 200 years from now. Right, where would the kaiju science go from there? Would they be able to reverse engineer the genome of those kaiju and gene edit humans? Would they be able to maybe domesticate some of the smaller ones? What breakthroughs in material science would there exist? Yada 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 yada, right? Because I know that the whole kaiju deal is very well integrated into the world, and I enjoy it very much. I'm, as I said, also, I'm missing a little bit those, you know, mundane uses for the kaiju stuff, but not missing it in a sense where it's lacking, but rather missing it in a sense where I would like it personally as a little bit of fan service to me personally, because I would just like it. I would feel nice if it was the case. I would feel very nice if they weren't for some yakiniku and there was kaiju meat on the menu, for example, right? That's what I mean. Besides that, very cool episode. I'm enjoying Kikoru's character. I'm enjoying that she can still go in one of multiple ways. She hasn't been railroaded into any of them. I was kind of afraid that she's going to jump into the role of just being a tsundere. The first time we met her, I mean, Ojo-sama, blonde, twin tails, that's a textbook tsundere. But no, she's not. She's a little bit special. She's a little bit of a character of her own. And I can very much enjoy it. And I hope she doesn't become a tsundere. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit, but I really don't. I really would not like it if she were like, stupid Kafka-san didn't notice that I changed my hairstyle, right? I would fucking hate for that to happen. So hopefully not. This show has been very good about its characters so far, so I really don't think it's gonna happen. But I mean, who knows? Anything can change. Anything can still happen, right? I don't know what to think of Kafka not using his kaiju powers. Like, I guess it's again a matter of my personal beliefs and sensibilities clashing a little bit with Kafka's, right? Just like in the previous episode, I talked about how he could get a very easy way into the defense force if he were to just reveal that, yeah, I'm the good kaiju, I saved those people, I got those powers, and I want to help you, right? I would have jumped at that chance. He didn't, because he wants to get in legitimately. That's his, that's his ethical code, I guess you could say. The same goes for this episode. I would absolutely utilize any powers I have if I wanted to pass this exam. You can be damn fucking sure that when crawling underneath the barbed wire, I would transform like legs sticking out from my chest and stomach, and I would just, walk on them underneath the barbed wire. You bet your ass I would do that. You bet your ass I would excrete sticky substance from my hands to be able to, climb easier. Or I would transform just my muscles but not my skin so that it doesn't show, right? You bet your ass I would do that. And I would have no qualms about it. But Kafka is not about that. Kafka wants to do it legitimately. Even when he said that, oh, I wanted to do it legitimately because I thought it would be cool, but holy shit, I should have used my powers. Even after saying that, he did not use his powers. He's a man of principle. He really is a man of principle. I personally might believe his principles are stupid. But I can appreciate that he has them, and I appreciate that he sticks to them. So it's by no means a criticism of his character. It's just, I feel, an incompatibility between the way he looks at the situation, he sees the world, and how I see it, and my sensibilities, my code of ethics, and his sensibilities, his code of ethics, are just different. Interesting. Very interesting to see that, and very curious when will he make use of his powers. If at all. I mean, he has to. At some point, he wouldn't get them if they were to remain unused, right? He's gonna have to use them eventually. I wonder how though. Is it going to be a case of him detaching himself from the group to do his own thing and appearing on the battlefield as the good kaiju, and then coming back to the group being like, oh, sorry guys, I fell behind, I stubbed my toe or something? Or is it going to be a case of a select few people learning of it, perhaps, and maybe sending him on solo missions or missions with Reno and, I know, someone else might have learned of his powers. My bet would be Kikoru, but we'll see. Maybe. All of that, of course, remains to be seen. I just hope he doesn't remain an unsung hero for too long, because, again, it's a matter of ethics, sensibilities, principles that, the trope of an unsung hero kind of clashes with what I believe. So, again, not a criticism of anything. Nothing like that has happened yet in the first place. Just a little bit of an incompatibility, I guess. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for today, for this episode, but maybe you guys have something more to add on the topic. If so, say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. Spoilers, can go to my Discord here, also in the description. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to be notified of future videos, not only Kaiju number 8, but also Yuuki, Yuuna, Unnamed Memory, Spice and Wolf, Sentai Daishikaku, Kaito Otome, Blue Archive, plenty others coming in the future. Click the bell to be notified when I go live, because I do sometimes. Support the channel if you want monetarily on the Patreon down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Yuuki, Yuuna, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and place and credits. You can also support me directly on YouTube via memberships, super thanks, super chats. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, you don't have to. Share my content, spread the word, it costs absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys, do all the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's my wonderful Patreons. QB, Without a Net, Watson, Zerene, Yuki, Ala, Ishtamu, Dr. Watt, Akonos, Marsh, Fassel, and Hans Peter. And you can join them as well without having to hide your true power.